game about the battle she had with Enrique. She goes, it was physical. Carter inside, leans in. That's pretty for Chennedy Carter.
Chennedy Carter entered the WNBA with sky-high expectations. Drafted 4th overall by the Atlanta Dream in 2020, she quickly made a name for herself as a dynamic scorer with a fearless playing style. Her rookie season was nothing short of spectacular. In one standout performance, she dropped 30 points in a single game, becoming the youngest player in league history to achieve such a feat. Her explosive scoring ability, quick handles, and aggressive approach to the game had fans and analysts alike predicting a bright future. She had the tools to become one of the league's elite guards, and her early performances suggested she was well on her way. But as her career progressed, it became clear that her journey would be anything but smooth. Despite her on-court success, Carter's time in Atlanta was marred by controversy. In 2021, she was suspended indefinitely by the Dream for what the team described as conduct detrimental to the team. Reports surfaced of a heated altercation with a teammate during a game, which led to a breakdown in locker room chemistry. This incident marked the beginning of a pattern that would follow Carter throughout her career. The Dream, unwilling to rebuild around a player who seemed to bring more drama than stability, traded Carter to the Los Angeles Sparks in 2022. While the move offered her a fresh start, it also signaled that her reputation was beginning to overshadow her talent. The turning point in Carter's career came in 2024 during a high-intensity matchup between the Chicago Sky and the Indiana Fever.
Miss Carter, I believe you can play hard. You're supposed to compete, but I believe you can do it without being cheap, and that what you did was a cheap shot.
Midway through the game, Carter delivered a brutal shoulder check to rookie sensation Caitlyn Clark, a move that was widely criticized as unnecessary and unsportsmanlike. The incident sparked outrage among fans, with social media erupting in condemnation of Carter's actions. What made the situation worse was the aftermath. Carter's refusal to apologize or show remorse only fueled the fire. Her own coach, Teresa Weatherspoon, publicly criticized the play, calling it unnecessary. Suddenly, Carter wasn't just a talented player with a history of controversy, she was seen as a liability. The Caitlyn Clark incident had far-reaching consequences for Carter's career. Despite averaging 5 points per game in the 2024 season, one of her best statistical performances, the Chicago Sky made the shocking decision not to extend her a qualifying offer. This meant Carter became an unrestricted free agent, free to sign with any team but with no guarantees of finding a new home.
Shot clock in Carter's eyes tell it all.
The lack of interest from other WNBA teams was telling. While Carter's talent was undeniable, her reputation as a disruptive force made her a risky investment. Teams were no longer willing to overlook her off-court issues, no matter how skilled she was on the court. Carter's situation highlights an important truth about professional sports. Talent alone isn't enough. In a league like the WNBA, where reputation and marketability play a significant role, players are often judged as much for their behavior as their performance. Carter's actions, particularly the incident with Caitlyn Clark, put her on the wrong side of this equation. Caitlyn Clark isn't just another rookie. She's a generational talent who has brought unprecedented attention to the WNBA. Her presence has boosted ratings, ticket sales, and sponsorships, making her one of the league's most valuable assets. By targeting Clark, Carter made herself the villain in a narrative the league couldn't afford to ignore.
There's no line. I'm competing. I'm gonna compete. I've already let you know, I'm gonna compete. If you're going to throw punches first, I'm gonna compete. It's all love, it's basketball.
While Carter's fall from grace has been swift, it's worth noting that other players have faced similar controversies without suffering the same consequences. Diana Taurasi, for example, has been called one of the dirtiest players in the league, but her status as a legend has shielded her from serious repercussions. Similarly, players like Brittany Griner and Angel Reese have had their share of on-court altercations and locker room issues, yet they continue to thrive. This double standard raises questions about how the WNBA handles its stars. Carter, despite her talent, doesn't have the same level of protection as more established players. Her actions, while controversial, might have been overlooked if she had the same clout as a Taurasi or a Griner. At just 25 years old, Carter's career is far from over, but her options are limited. With no WNBA team showing interest, she may need to look overseas for opportunities. Many WNBA players have found success in leagues in Europe and China, where they can earn bigger paychecks and rebuild their reputations.
I'm not really focused on that play anymore. It happened. okay? It's just a basketball. It just happened. Like, it's over with. I don't know why we're dragging it, but we continue to drag a play that happened in a whole.
Despite her undeniable talent, Carter's career has been marred by controversy. Even in her early days with the Atlanta Dream, there were whispers of locker room issues and clashes with teammates. In 2021, those whispers turned into headlines when Carter was suspended indefinitely for what the team described as conduct detrimental to the team. Reports suggested that she had been involved in a heated altercation with a teammate during a game, and the fallout was significant. The Dream, instead of rebuilding around their young star, decided to cut their losses. In 2022, Carter was traded to the Los Angeles Sparks. While the move was seen as a fresh start, it didn't take long for old habits to resurface. Carter's time with the Sparks was short-lived, and by 2024, she found herself on the Chicago Sky, where her career would take its most dramatic turn yet.
Played in Los Angeles. In fact, she had just joined the team. She and Kayla McBride were both playing their first games of the season. Cambage off the glass. Cambage to Samuelson, blocked by West.
The defining moment of Chennedy Carter's career came during a high-intensity matchup between the Chicago Sky and the Indiana Fever in 2024. Midway through the game, Carter delivered a brutal shoulder check to rookie sensation Caitlyn Clark, a move that was clearly not a basketball play. The incident sparked immediate outrage. Fans erupted, social media exploded, and even non-WNBA fans were talking about it. Carter's actions were widely condemned. She was accused of jealousy, poor sportsmanship, and even targeted harassment of Clark, who had quickly become one of the league's most marketable players. The backlash was swift and severe. Even Carter's own coach refused to defend her, calling the play unnecessary in post-game interviews. What made the situation worse was Carter's response. Instead of apologizing or showing remorse, she doubled down, insisting that she was just competing and that such incidents were part of the game. Her refusal to take accountability only fueled the fire, and her reputation took a massive hit. The Caitlyn Clark incident was the final straw for many in the WNBA. Despite averaging 5 points per game in 2024, one of her best seasons statistically,
has hit back-to-back basket. Carter finds a Agumake, Nneka with a nice move with the left hand.
the Chicago Sky made the shocking decision not to extend Carter a qualifying offer, making her an unrestricted free agent. This was a clear signal that the team no longer saw her as a valuable asset. No team showed serious interest in signing Carter, a player who, just a few years earlier, had been considered one of the most promising talents in the WNBA. Teams weren't just looking at her on-court performance. They were looking at the baggage she brought off it. Carter had become a liability, and no one was willing to take the risk. The WNBA is a league where reputation matters just as much as skill. While Carter's talent is undeniable, her actions and attitude have made her a pariah in the eyes of many. The league, which has long struggled for mainstream attention, is hyper-aware of its image. Players who are seen as disruptive or negative are often blackballed, regardless of their talent. Carter's situation is a stark reminder of this reality.
Reaction after this controversial foul on Caitlyn Clark.
Unnecessary.
Clark's Indiana Fever taking on the Chicago Sky on Saturday.
While other players have been involved in controversies and still found success, Carter doesn't have the same level of protection. Players like Diana Taurasi, who has been called one of the dirtiest players in the league, are given leeway because of their status as legends. Carter, on the other hand, doesn't have that luxury. At just 25 years old, Carter's WNBA future is in serious jeopardy. While her talent is undeniable, her reputation has made her radioactive in the eyes of teams and sponsors. If she hopes to salvage her career, she'll need to take a hard look in the mirror and make some significant changes.
As many as 14 here in this first half. Pass knocked away. Jefferson tried to grab it. Ultimately, it's LA's possession. 3 on the shot clock. Carter gets the shot off. And
one option is to head overseas. Many WNBA players, including stars, have found success playing in Europe or China, where the paychecks are bigger and the expectations are different. But even there, Carter will need to prove that she can be a team player and leave her baggage behind. Another option is to wait for a desperate team to take a chance on her mid-season. Injuries and roster changes can create opportunities, but Carter would need to be ready to seize them. Most importantly, she'll need to show that she's learned from her mistakes and is willing to put in the work to rebuild her reputation. Chennedy Carter's story is a cautionary tale for young athletes everywhere.
Said that, you know, the way they fired Theresa Weatherspoon, and a lot of it was because we thought, oh, they were kind of, you know, catering too much to Angel. Which, to be fair, like, that is what...
Talent alone isn't enough to guarantee success. Reputation, professionalism, and the ability to navigate the politics of professional sports are just as important. Carter bet big on her attitude and style of play, but it looks like the league has called her bluff.